Hi everyone. I've been getting some questions on the Symbaloo assignment, and the more I dig into it, I understand the confusion and lack of consistency. Um, the way these college courses work is one person or maybe a group of people write them, design them, but then over the years, other people get assigned to teach them. And so, for example, this semester, I'm teaching this course, but it's not one I wrote or designed. Okay. So you walk a fine line between you don't want to change their course too much and you want to be respectful, but if you see places where education could be improved, perhaps there's some clarity and communication could be improved, you need to go in and do that. I'm finding that with Symbaloo. I'm seeing that throughout the modules, we just didn't use the same terms over and over, and so it's getting confusing. And then I also noticed a spot where it wasn't really clear that you needed them at all. So I'm hoping to clear up the Symbaloo mystery today, and then I'm going to go in and revise everywhere it appears to make it better going forward and for whoever teaches this course next semester. Okay. Here is the best way to figure out what you need. Go to the very last module, Module 9, go to the Social Bookmarking assignment, and there's description here and you could read it, but honestly I would go right into the rubric and look at what the rubric is requiring. As far as folders or categories, and these really need to be called categories because that's, or no, I'm sorry, collections, because that's what they're called in Symbaloo. Okay? You should have 2 from Module 1, those were called Education and Technology. 2 from Module 2, those were never even mentioned to be created, so I'll discuss that in a minute. And then 2 from Module 3, which would effectively be hardware and apps or software. Could you have more collections than that? Absolutely. Can you change the names? The instructions say name it exactly. The problem is they don't have a consistent naming convention throughout the module, so I'm not going to be a stickler on that. As long as I can tell, oh, this is probably their hardware collection. Oh, this is probably their software collection. As far as how many links you should have in each one, under Education and Technology, the 2 from Module 1, you should have 2 links in each. And they're probably very general. They might even be ones that you would reclassify now, having made new collections. And that's okay. I'm not as worried about those 2. Those are nice catch-all folders for anything you find that they don't have a great place anywhere else. Maybe they go in there. Okay, so I should see a minimum of 2 links in education and 2 in technology by the end of the semester. Because here's the other kicker. You need 50 total links, and when I go through these requirements, the course has only required 34, so you're going to have to add 16 of your own somewhere. Okay. The Module 2 links were never specifically mentioned until you get to this assignment. So that's a problem. I'm going to revise that, but the Module 2 links appear to be they want a collection called Standards, come on mouse, and a collection called Tech Integration or Integration. What would go in the Standards one could be links to the ISTE standards for educators, the ISTE standards for students. It could be links to your professional standards. When you go back to that Module 2, oh, sorry if I just made you dizzy with the scroll. I think I need a new battery for the mouse. It's getting a little laggy. They link ISTE standards here multiple times. There's even ISTE for coaches standards. But we also have a whole bunch of other standards for professional organizations. So maybe if you're in the library media science field, I would definitely link to the library's standards. If anything fits there, some you might see some overlap. Maybe you're early childhood and a librarian. Maybe the nursing one's harder. Hopefully you can find, did we even include some nursing ones? You poor nurses always get left out. It's just teachers, teachers, teachers all the time. Certainly you have standards throughout the nursing profession. I am not well versed enough to know what they are, but I would link to those kind of things. Any standards you can find. Maybe you include just the West Virginia teaching standards. Maybe you're like, I need more than this. Maybe you find articles on interpreting the standards. Maybe you find articles on integrating technology with your state standards or your content standards. Standards-ish. And while it's unclear how many sources you need for this, I found a reference to it in a random assignment somewhere in like module 7 or 8. You're supposed to have 5. So I'm going to fix all of this, and I'm going to give you a little graphic in the announcements for this week, but you should have 5 links in standards. You should have 5 in integration. What would you put in technology integration? Well, I'd go to the notes, because we really do have these here to help you. They're not just things to skip over and go, whoo, didn't have to read that. I would link to TPAC. I would link to SAMR. I would link to TIM. What else are you going to link to? Because you're going to need 5. Well, maybe you can find multiple sites, not just the TIM site from FCIT, but maybe you can find articles about using the TIM matrix or moving up the TIM matrix. Maybe you can find other references that you think are important. Maybe you want to go find out about the beginning of SAMR. But 5 standards, 5 integration. So that means we have education, technology at 2 each, standards and integration at 5 each. Then in the module 3, is that the one we're in the middle of? Just finished? In the middle of, yes. This one really messed you up because it gave you multiple terms for what to include. But ultimately, you're going to need 2 new collections. I would call it hardware. Or you could call it devices if that makes your heart happy. I don't know that you need one called articles. You could make a separate one if you want, or you could call it articles or hardware and devices. Oh, those are the same thing. You can call it hardware and articles, devices and articles. Maybe it's all one title. But basically you need 1 collection on hardware, and you need 10 links within that collection. When we hit the classroom software discussion, you need, oh, I'm sorry, I went too far. You need a collection titled software or apps and software, or software and articles, or apps and articles, or again, I'm not going to be a stickler because this was unclear, so it's unfair to expect you, but make sure I can tell it's the software version, and you should have 10 more links. So what's required in the course, and you may have to backfill: 2 under education, 2 under technology, 5 under standards, 5 under tech integration, 10 under hardware, 10 under software. In each case, it could be a direct link to, maybe in hardware, you're going to link to the Apple Pencil because you're just amazed that you can squeeze it and the tool menu pops up. Maybe you're going to link to a site that reviews tools. Maybe you're going to link to an article discussing how do you use iPads when you're not one-to-one in a classroom. Anything related to hardware and education, that could go there. Or hardware and nursing, or hardware and library, whatever fits your content area. All right. Same with software. This is where the distinction has been a little fuzzy too. Hardware, things you can touch, things that exist in the real world. This would be considered a peripheral because it's an input device, but it is still hardware. Your monitor, your keyboard, your processors, your headphones, those are all hardware. If you can touch it, consider it hardware. If you cannot touch it, if you're on the IXL website, if you're doing Aliens versus Presidents on the iPad, that would all be considered apps or software. Okay, so make that distinction. Keep your links separate. I hope this helps with the Symbaloo. I am sorry that I did not catch this beforehand. I will go back and fix. But ultimately, that final Symbaloo is not due until, well, when's the last due date of the course? That's due August 5th. That's when I will be looking for, do you have the 6 required collections do you have the minimum for? Now notice that they say to get extra credit, you really need 2 more categories. To get the full credit here, it's not really extra, it's just to get the top level. You'll need additional relevant collections. So I think I'm going to revise the rubric to be more specific as well. And hopefully, when worse comes to worse, you just come to this rubric and look at it to find out exactly what you need. If you have questions, please let me know. As you can see, things happen. I miss things. I don't realize the tiny word changes and how much they impacted you. So if you see something like that, please let me know. Thanks to those who reached out. Hope this helped you going forward.